Hello, Ghost fans. I'm sure you're aware of this already, but Ghost has just released a brand new song. And it's a cover. Who would have thought? I didn't. I was under the impression, along with numerous other people, that Papa Nihil was going to get resurrected today, and we were going to get a brand new Papa Nihil single. You may also know me as the guy who tries to predict what the Ghost songs sound like before they're ever released. And I did that under the assumption we were going to get a new Papa Nihil song today. It was all for naught. But I decided to show you guys anyways on today's episode of what songs would probably sound like had they actually been written and released. Ghost has followed a pattern in their releases throughout their entire career. They'll put out an album, and then after the album comes out, they'll put out an EP that'll have a bunch of catchy songs. Meliora, Popestar, Freak-Out, 7 Inches of Satanic Panic. Infestissimum, if you have Ghosts. We just had Impera, so we can conclude that the next release is going to be some sort of EP. But now we have to determine what is going to influence the actual song. It's not enough to just say it's going to be a catchy single. That's easy enough to guess with a band like Ghost. We have to determine what the song will actually sound like. And to do that, we have to do a little bit of deep diving. But first, we cannot forget about the lore of this band. Mariana Cross did get huge, and there has been some desire for more Papa Nihil, 7 Inches of Satanic Panic. And that has a very 60s kind of sound to it. Papa Nihil is dead. Now, I know what you're thinking. Nick, just because Papa Nihil's dead doesn't mean anything, because it's all from the archives. They can just go back and say they found something else in the archives, and now we can get another 7 Inches of Satanic Panic Papa Nihil style tune. Well, hear me through. Ghost started, as we know it, with Papa Emeritus 1 in the year 2010 with Opus. We have all this time between 1969 and 2010 where Papa Nihil was the main guy. Do you think he just released 7 Inches of Satanic Panic? No, he released a lot more music than that. He's got to have a sustainable career. What I'm trying to say is, it's very plausible we could have a Papa Nihil album from the 80s. And there seem to be a couple things pointing in that direction. One, that. Alright, but legitimately, number one is the most recent collaboration with Joe Elliott. Not only was there a Def Leppard collab, but these chapters have been riddled with 80s pop culture references. You got Copia playing a very 80s looking video game. You got Papa Nihil as a Force Ghost, which is very Star Wars, which is late 70s, early 80s. And we have that whole training montage on the beach. That's like straight out of an 80s action movie. I don't know about you, I'm just getting a very 80s vibe. So there's two things that could possibly happen. Outcome number one is the song does not have an 80s vibe at all. And based on the Chapter 17 teaser, it's a very heavy organ kind of sound, and it sounds like the old Ghost. And we're going to ignore that for now because this video is assuming it is going to be a very 80s sound. Now, I think Papa Nihil was probably less of a James Hetfield and more like a dude from Duran Duran or Bon Jovi. He just seems like a slick dude that would play very catchy stuff. I mean, he plays saxophone for crying out loud. That's a very 80s instrument. You ever hear Men at Work? They had a saxophone. You ever hear Careless Whisper? Of course you have. I'm not saying there's a saxophone solo in here, and it may or may not be because I can't play saxophone. What I'm trying to convey with the saxophone is that this is going to be more of a hair metal or pop rock song than it is going to be, I don't know, Slayer. And another thing, Tobias Forge just came out and said he really liked John Frusciante. Is that how you pronounce his name? Now, between you and me, I'm not really a big Chili Peppers guy, but if I wanted to make this an authentic prediction, I knew I had to take a deep dive into the world of the Red Hot Chili Peppers and John Frusciante and really immerse myself in the culture and music of the Chili Peppers. I learned they treat California the way Ghost treats the devil. And at this point, I thought I had gathered enough information to accurately predict what the song would sound like, but it turns out there was one more band I needed to check out, and that band was Marillion. They were the band that Tobias Forge streamed the most on Spotify in 2022. If you don't think that has some lasting influence on what the song is going to be like, I mean, that's huge. That's like saying, like, I can't think of an analogy, but it's going to be very important. Now, I had absolutely zero idea what Marillion sounded like, so I went for a walk one day after my new eye doctor totally destroyed my left eye, and I gave him a listen. I've been listening to Marillion's discography. I guess it's like the Spotify This Is Marillion playlist. There's a couple things I've taken away from every single song of theirs. One, it has a very clean, pristine 80s compressed and chorus Stratocaster on it. Two, they're all like a very slow-ish tempo. Nothing's really upbeat. And the third thing, which is how we get back to the guy from the Chili Peppers, all the solos are very like anthem melodic. There's not a lot of shred. I determined that if I were to fuse the sounds of Marillion and John Frusciante with the already hypothesized 80s rock sound, I was going to need an instrument that they both commonly used. I needed a traditional Fender Stratocaster. And there's a couple things that this thing nails that both Frusciante and Steve Rothery of Marillion both have. It has killer clean tone. Tone aside, I like to repeat simple like arpeggio kind of riffs, and neither of them really shred. They both take a very melodic approach to their solos. It would be more like this, and less like this. Now, I really want to emphasize that I think these are just going to be influences. I'm not saying Ghost is going to release a song that sounds like, because I don't see that being the case. It's going to be that influence mixed with a harder rock sound. But not too hard rock, because remember, Papa Nihil is slick. He's smooth. Unlike, I don't know, Papa 1. Now, lyric-wise, I think the song is going to be some sort of resurrection or you can't kill me kind of vibe. Because, I mean, they've been teasing Jesus coming for a while. I have a feeling it's going to be something about resurrecting Papa Nihil from the dead. They've been resurrecting him for miasma when he plays the saxophone. So why not permanently have him back? I don't know any particular lines. I can't really predict the lines, but I'm going to write about that subject matter. So with all of that in mind, I give you my prediction as to what this song will probably sound like. Here we go.
It's been so long since I've been awakened. I understand you feel a little shaken, for you needed to run to understand what's been done. But please have no fear, I'll be with you soon, my dear. But you needed to run to understand what's been done. But please have no fear, I'll be with you soon, my dear. My resurrection into connecting with you, seeking perfection, my injection was through.
think of that? If you liked it, I got good news for you. This song is coming to streaming very, very soon. It'll be in the pinned comment. It'll be in the description. Be sure to check back in a couple days so you can access it. I'll make another announcement video too. Well, let me put it this way. If you're watching this the day this video got released, it's not on streaming. Come back later. If you're watching this and there's a comment that has it pinned, click on that. You can go stream the song. Now, usually this is the segment where I'd ask you what you thought of my version compared to the real version. But as far as we know, there's no real version to react to. So I'm going to ask you this. Which cover are you most excited for? I'm really looking forward to hear Iron Maiden's take on Phantom of the Opera. That's one of my favorite Maiden songs, and Ghost being one of my favorite bands, it's like a match made in heaven or hell because it's Ghost. See what I did there? Anyways, if you like these kind of videos, be sure to hit that subscribe button, give it a thumbs up. There's going to be lessons for every single song on this EP, even though you could probably figure them out because there's other videos showing you how to play the real version. But I'm going to teach you how to play the Ghost versions. So be sure to stick around for that. And I will see you in the next video. The next What Songs Probably Sound Like is probably Avenged Sevenfold, but I'll see you then. Peace out.
My